Hey everybody, welcome to the Everyday Real Estate Investor. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Hope you're all having a fantastic day and appreciate the support and listening. Hopefully these episodes have been helpful. Again, the heart behind this and who I'm really speaking to is, I really want people to not use the excuse of being busy and having a lot going on. And, there's a lot of quote unquote everyday people out there that have busy lives, that have, professional careers, that are doing a lot of other things. And, it can be difficult to get into the real estate investing game. And it's really easy to use being busy as an excuse. And I just don't want to see that for people. And I've used that excuse for a long time, or I did. And, I want people to be able to get in the game and make things happen. I just really believe in real estate as an investment tool, and I want to see people get involved. So that's the heart behind this, figuring out ways to make that happen, tools and tactics and strategies and all those things, and talking to other people that have done it to be able to know that it's possible and make it happen. So today I'm going to talk about freedom, because this is launching on the 4th of July. How can we not talk about freedom? We live in an amazing country where we have a lot of freedoms and a lot of abilities and a lot of things that unfortunately I think we take for granted a lot of times, and we get really comfortable in our way of life here, and we have it really well here. And I just appreciate those that have served and sacrificed and continue to do so to keep our country great and to keep us free and all that. So we're not going to talk about that. I just needed to throw that out there. But freedom is the trend today. And why is that? Because the root of why most people want to get involved in real estate investing is freedom. When you really take all of it out and strip it away and peel back that onion, the root of it, the center of it is they want freedom. They want freedom of choice. They want freedom of time. They want freedom. So let's talk about that, and what does it take to get there, and just some thoughts around that. So there's going to be, again, not every episode, but a lot of them have the practical and the strategy mixed in with the philosophical mindset. So there's definitely a lot of that in this one. So before we jump into that, I want to remind people and just kind of throw something out there. Again, I am a real estate broker. That's my, quote unquote full-time job. It's very flexible, obviously. And so it's easy for me to integrate, or easier for me to integrate investing in than it is for someone that's working maybe at a 9-to-5 job. But the reason why I want to bring that up is because I am currently looking to grow my team. I am part of a brokerage that's a international company. So I am in the Portland, Oregon market. I would love to, connect with people out here that are maybe looking for a change, looking for a new opportunity. We're getting involved in a lot more in obviously investment side things and multifamily commercial development, in addition to the residential things that we've been doing. So I'm really excited for that. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity. There's going to be more than I'm going to be able to handle on my own. So let's bring some folks along for the ride, right? So let's, I'm all about collaboration and doing things together. So if you're looking for a change or an opportunity, and again, a larger brokerage, so would be happy to, if you're not in the Portland, Oregon metro, talk to you about what that might look like as well. But I definitely would, if you're looking to align with someone that's an investor, that wants to help investors, that wants to help developers, that wants to, just have a great company to work for and be working alongside other investors that are doing the thing, I would love to talk to you. So feel free to reach out, social media, send me a message, and let me know, and happy to chat. So, okay, so I want to start this off with, I think, the most important piece of this freedom. I'm going to go through 4 or 5 points here about freedom with real estate investing. So I think this is the key point where you want to start. And this is not just with real estate. This is, I think, for everything and in life in general, and that is free thinking. There's so much noise out there. You could, I guess, categorize this as noise, right? So there's so many people putting thoughts out there, information, opinions, all sorts of things. And it's really easy to kind of gravitate towards the what you hear most often. And there's a whole lot to that with the way social media works and the internet and all that. You tend to see only what you've already confirmed to the internet, and with all their algorithms that you feel. So you see what you already are believing, and so you can kind of confirm to yourself, this is how everybody thinks, right? So it's really easy to just get drawn into that and really get stuck in, this is how I think, and this is how most other people think, and this is how I'm supposed to think, when it may not be true. And it's really easy to let people influence you. And again, this is kind of part of the heart behind this particular podcast too, is that there's nothing wrong with wanting to build a big business. I mean, that's great. If that's your goal, is to own 1,000 units and build a big business or have a big syndication company or whatever. That's great. Go for it. I'm all about that. But not everybody feels that. Not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody has the capacity or the desire to do that, right? So, but when you're hearing that over and over again from podcasts and from social media influencers and from all these people that are talking about these big things, you can feel like that's what you're supposed to do, right? You can feel like that's what's normal, that's what's expected of you, is I have to go out and build this big company. And I want to just start there and say, it's not. You need to sit back first and think, what do I want real estate investing to do for me? What do I want my real estate investment life to look like? Do I want it to eventually be full-time? What is your goal? What do you want your life to look like? And design your business around that. Don't design it around what somebody else is telling you that you need that to look like. Figure out for yourself what that is going to look like and how it fits in your life, and then build it from there. So you determine your goals and your dreams. So follow what you want, not what someone else is telling you you should want or you should have, right? So start there, and you're going to do much better because you're going to be going after what you want and not what someone else is telling you should want. And I know that from experience, by the way. I've been there. So pay attention. You also determine your thoughts and your attitudes and your mindset. So pay attention to what your inner voice is telling yourself. Make sure you actually either affirm those beliefs or question those beliefs, and ask yourself, is this mindset serving me? And if it's not, change your mindset. You can change your mindset. Tell yourself what you need to be telling yourself. Okay, so now that we've got that foundation, that's super important. Let's talk a little bit about freedom in real estate. And these are just a few things that I feel like real estate gives you freedom of. So freedom of choice is the first one. So again, going back to determining what do you want out of real estate, how do you want that to look? There are so many ways to get involved in real estate and to invest in real estate, and it's great. And I talk all the time about you have to figure out what that looks like, because you need to be focused on what it is you want. You can't be all over this. So it's a double-edged sword, right? There's so many ways to be involved. It's great, but if you're chasing all of them, you're never going to do anything, or it's going to be very difficult and you're going to be scattered. So hone in on what you want, hone in on the strategy, what you're doing, what do you want to accomplish. But the great thing is that you have a freedom of choice. It can look a lot of different ways. So you don't have to say, well, this doesn't fit my personality. This way of doing this business is not me, and this is the only way I can invest in real estate. Find a way that does fit with your personality and with your time and with your connections and experience, and all, those things will change your connections and experience and your knowledge and all that stuff. But, build your business around what you want that to look like, around your time schedule and your availability and what you love to do, how you want to spend your time. Again, starting with that foundation, and then you have the freedom to choose which direction you want that to go. Do you want to do remodels? Is that something you love? Do you love designing new spaces and remodeling and seeing something go from ugly and falling apart to something new and beautiful? Do you love talking to people? Do you not love talking to people? Do you love sitting behind your desk and analyzing deals? I mean, there's all sorts of things that, what's your strength? What do you enjoy doing? And you can fit that in, and that could be on your own. You could buy notes, right? You don't have, not that you don't talk to people when you buy notes, and this is coming from, I've never bought a note before, but I know people that have. But it is more of a behind the scenes deal. You're not going out and looking at properties. You're not talking to realtors. You're looking at notes that are, available for sale. And again, I know very little about notes, so maybe we'll have to have somebody on that does that. That would be a good guest to have on. They can talk about what that looks like. But I know it's less involved in the personal aspects of the business, right? So it's more paperwork and finance and that sort of thing. But there's a place for that, and it's a different type of investing. You're investing in debt, but it's still a type of real estate investing. Do you want you can go whatever direction that you want to go that's going to fit with your goals and with your personality and that sort of thing. So again, freedom of choice is a great piece to investing in real estate. So this is the big thing that a lot of people are after, which is freedom with cash flow. So building that passive or quasi semi-passive, because even if you have a management company, you still have some involvement in your business, or you should, right? It's not going to be completely passive. Even with syndication and being a passive investor, you still have to vet the deal. You still have to vet the sponsor, all that stuff. So nothing's like 100% passive, but it's certainly less involved and more passive than like running a project, that sort of thing, right? Very, very many people are after cash flow and replacing their income. Equity is great. You build wealth with equity, but you build freedom with cash flow. So you can have, and I don't know if they coined this phrase or not, but Russell Gray said it all the time on the Real Estate Guys radio show, that you can't eat equity. So I don't know if he coined that or if he took it from someone else, but it's so true. You could have millions of dollars of equity, but if you don't have cash flow, how do you pay your bills, right? You're not paying your bills with equity. So and that's from a business perspective, that's from paying for your expenses on your buildings, that sort of thing. But it's also, you can build your business, right? Or your goal is, hey, I have X amount of expenses per month for my personal expenses, and I'm going to figure out what does it take me to replace that income? And that's really what creates true freedom through real estate is income coming in every month, that you're doing something, like you created that, right? But you're not doing once it's coming in, typically you're not doing as much, and now you have that freedom. You don't have to have your professional career or your W-2 job or whatever. Now you have that freedom of choice, right? Which was the last one. You can choose to continue working. And that's really what freedom is, right? Is that you have the ability to choose whether or not you are doing something, right? So you could continue in your professional career. Maybe you love your professional career, but now you're not forced to do that because you've created cash flow to cover your expenses. Your expenses are taken care of, and you're now making, it's optional. It's optional to do that. It's just a different feeling going to a job or a professional career or whatever when you are doing that voluntarily. Basically, you're still getting paid to do it, right? But you're essentially, you're not doing it because you have to earn a living. You're doing it voluntarily because you love it. And even if you love it and it's currently your living, it's different. It's different once you are doing it strictly because you love to do it and not because you need the income. So I think that's a great goal to have. I'm going to tell you that's now, here I am again. I told you at the beginning, don't let anybody else tell you what your goal should be. But I think that's a very great goal to consider if you haven't already. That of how do I replace my income, and even just a chunk of it at first, right? If you start building, and as you do, it'll compound on itself. You'll get that momentum. So I think that's a great goal to have. I don't want to tell you to have that goal because I want you to figure that out for yourself, but I would very strongly ask you to consider that as a great goal. So, and if cash flow is the goal, so going back to the foundation of your personal investment philosophy and your goals, make sure that you are using the right strategy to achieve that goal. Make sure you're buying in the right markets, make sure you're using the right strategy, because not all strategies are going to create the cash flow. Some of them are going to just create equity more so than the cash flow. And you can phase it, and I won't get into this as super detailed, but there are a lot of investors that they'll go into equity markets, they'll build up a bunch of equity, buying that way, get a lot of appreciation, and then at a later time, once they've built a lot of equity, maybe they don't have a lot of cash flow, but they can in turn take those at a certain point and trade those into a market that produces more cash flow. And so you can do it that way as well. And I think that's a great strategy, and it can speed things up a little bit if you're able to buy into a market that's creating a lot more equity. And then whether you're forcing that equity or expecting appreciation, taking that from an equity market and then moving that into a cash flow market later. It's kind of a two-step, but it works really, really well. And the last thing here that I want to touch on is freedom of time. So talk about freedom of choice, freedom with cash flow, which creates the option of working or not, right? And then freedom of time. And why I think freedom of time, and this kind of dovetails a little bit into the working voluntarily thing, is that once you don't have the monthly expense as a hurdle, you shift from making a living to living with purpose. Not that what you're doing as your professional career or your job can't be part of your purpose, but it's a lot easier to go out and say, I want to do some volunteer work, or I want to, invest in affordable housing. And again, not that you can't. I know people that do that and make like a lot of money doing that, and it's a passion and a business, right? But my point is that you have, again, because you have the choice now on what you're doing with your time. You don't have to work. You can do other things that you couldn't do before. You have freedom of time to spend more time with your family. You have freedom of time to go out and give of yourself to a cause that you're passionate about, right? So you've got all these other options that you didn't have before to be able to give and be able to give back. And I think that should be the goal. And again, I'm telling you now another goal to have, but if your goal is 100% selfish and you just want to live lavishly and take care of yourself and just have a good time and whatever it takes to get there, so be it. I would really question your mindset on that. I really would, because I think you're going to get further, number one, by involving other people and having a common goal and all of those things. But it's an empty pursuit. We all need to make money. We all need to do for ourselves and for our family. But if you're stomping on people, or if your sole goal is because I want to be rich, or I want to have a bunch of money, I want to do what I want to do, I think a piece of that, or a part of that, is fine to be able to have in there, and that's a motivation, right? Again, that goes back to freedom and being able to do what you want to do. So I think that's great. At the expense of others, or with that as the sole goal, I'm not a proponent of that at all. So I think that the goal should be to grow and to help others grow. And again, that's why I'm doing this, is to help other people do it. And to be able to do more and be more and influence more and impact your community and all of those amazing things that you are limited on when you are limited by your income and your job and that sort of thing. One of the things to remember is you don't have to spend a lot of time investing in the first place. There are, of course, strategies that take less time. If you're investing passively, turnkey investing, which we talked to Zach Leemaster last week, of rent to retirement. If you're investing passively in a syndication, again, you still want to vet the deal and analyze it yourself and vet the people that are running the show on that. But it is less time, right? So there are ways to get in with less time, but ultimately, having that freedom through cash flow is going to just free up a lot more options for you to be able to do more and just impact those around you. And that could be just your family, it could be your community, whatever that looks like. Again, you need to define what that looks like, but I encourage you to make it a goal to have freedom of time, not just be for yourself, but for giving of yourself in some way. So I'll get off my soapbox on that. That's just how I feel. But that's it for today. Hopefully that's been interesting to you guys. Hopefully this, a lot of this is mindset and trying to get around some of these things about freedom and why it's something to go after. And there's a little bit of strategy in there too. But I just really feel freedom is a big topic, and a lot of people either don't recognize maybe that's the ultimate crux of what they're after, right? And they don't think through the strategy to help get them there, and then maybe not thinking beyond themselves of what they can do with that freedom of time. So we all have freedom. Again, 4th of July, I just appreciate those that have been out there and that have served our country, that give us that freedom. We do have freedom in this country. There's a lot of negative narrative out there right now. I'm not going to get political on this podcast here right now, but just be careful what you listen to. Be careful to fall into the trap of some of the mindset and the narrative that's out there saying that it's difficult to be an American. And everybody has challenges, everybody has struggles, but gosh, we've got it so good in this country. We have so much opportunity. There's the reason why people try so hard continually to come here, is because we have a great opportunity here. Don't listen to the negative narrative. Don't listen to your negative mindset if it's telling you that it's too hard, that it's a struggle. Life is not meant to be easy, okay? There are struggles and there are things you have to work through, but we have a step above a lot of people because of where we live here in America. So don't use those things as excuses of why you can't make it happen for yourself. You can have freedom through real estate. You can have opportunity. You have to go out and get it, decide that you can have it, and go after it. And don't let those things get in the way. Everybody has hurdles. Everybody has things they struggle with. Everybody has things they need to overcome. But it's the people that push through those things, and the people that don't let those things be excuses are the ones that are successful. And fortunately, we have great opportunity to, pull ourselves up from our bootstraps to do whatever we need to do to be successful. And if you want it, you can have it. So that's a good song, by the way. Anyway, hope you have happy and safe 4th. Thanks again for listening. Happy 4th of July, and we'll catch you next week.